Hi, my name is Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and this is the Hoyt RX-5, so the RX-5. This is the Hoyt carbon bow, so the riser is actually aluminium coated with carbon. This bit here is aluminium. You've got limb pockets here, which are nice, all locked in. Now the Hoyt limbs, these limbs kind of look like a normal limb used by all the rest of the companies, good and glass limbs, but I'm told there's something a little bit different about the Hoyt limbs. They have a coating over them. Anyway, the limb dampeners here. The bow's meant to be 342 feet per second, 30 inches axle to axle, 6-inch brace height, so it should be a little bit harder to aim. What's really nice on the Hoyt is the adjustable draw length, so I'm hoping it's set on 29. I haven't actually drawn this back, so we may have to adjust it. Now the draw length is adjusted by rotating the modules, so you don't need a bow press to do that, and they've got the ability for a draw stop here from 80 to 85%, so this is very much like your PSE and your Elite, where you can move the draw stop forward or back. That's basically going to hit this cable to reduce the size of the valley. It's a really nice system, very adjustable. The draw length on this is adjustable from 30 to 25. The settings are all here, so I should be able to work out what size the draw length is on this bow. If I could find the letter. Oh, it's on A. So it's on A, it's on 30. So we're going to adjust this to 29. Now, it's got a roller slide here, which is nice. Now, the difference between the RX-5 and the RX-7, there's a couple of bows. There's a couple of bows which look the same to me. One's called the Ultra and one's called the RX-7. One's just called the RX-7 and one's called the RX-7 Ultra. One is 3.9 pounds and one is 4.4, which is what this should be. One is slightly faster than the other and one is longer axle to axle. So to do this review, the customer purchased this bow, went to an archery club to shoot target, and this is really a hunting bow. And when he did the beginner's course, he realized he wanted to shoot bare bow, so he came in and brought a bare bow, bare recurve. Not a bare recurve, he brought a win-and-win recurve. So he traded this bow in. Now he brought a hunting style recurve in carbon because I think he thought that looked cool. And it's not a bad bow. Now if you're going to shoot competitive bare bow archery, you'd probably choose one of the bare bow recurves, but that's another whole topic in itself. So the RX-7, the RX-5 is a nice looking bow in my opinion, well built. You'll have very little problems with it. So before doing this review, I did a little bit of research on the bows, and so I found this bow in America for $1,300 American dollars, which is crazy cheap. I'm like, that is crazy. It's like so cheap. So I converted that to Australian and comes into about $1,900, and I'm like, that is so cheap. Everyone should be buying these. It is so much cheaper than the PSE Levitate. The PSE Levitate's $1,900 US dollars, so a lot Australian dollars, and this is $1,300. Now that's obviously a closeout, and shops are closing out. I found this bow in Australia from about $2,000 to $2,300. But like again, I'm going to say this is last year's model, which was hard to get because there wasn't many of them around. But the RX-7 is the new model, so I did some pricing on that because I figured let's just talk numbers on what this bow's worth. In America, the RX-7 sells for about $1,900. Now I equated that to Australian dollars, so the Australian dollar is 0.67. I allowed for 70 cents, so I gave it plus 3%. To ship a bow to Australia is about $100. You got 10% GST when you import a product or when you sell a product. That came to about $3,100 roughly. $3,100 for the RX-7. If you import an RX-7 from America into Australia, that's what it's going to cost you. Now in Australia, the RX-7 sells for between $2,100 and $2,500 depending on the store. One of the Hoyt distributors had one in stock. Another Hoyt distributor, as far as I can see, had none in stock. And another Hoyt distributor had one in stock. Now there was another guy who may or may not be a Hoyt distributor selling them for $2,100, and he had quite a few in stock. So Now let's just put this back. So that's 2,100 Australian dollars. There's 10% GST on that. So you can, if you're going to buy this boat in Australia, send it to America, you don't have to pay GST. So you get 10% off the price of that boat. The Australian dollar is again 68 cents. So you times it by 0.68. It equates to about 1,300 American dollars. You can buy this boat in, well, the RX-7 in Australia for 1,300 US dollars. It's going to cost you about $100 to ship it to the US, so about 1,400. In America, it's 1,900, so a saving of 500 US bucks. Now, I assume what's going on in Australia is the dealers have got a price war going on, and prices are not regulated in Australia as far as they have a minimum recommended retail price on bows. So the dealers are all making nothing on this product, because if you import it from America, it's going to cost you $3,100. In Australia, it's anywhere from $2,100 to $2,500 depending on the store. So even the most expensive store is still significantly cheaper than buying the boat in America, which would suggest to me the American shops must have a lot of margin on Hoyt. Anyway, now if you're a Hoyt dealer in Australia, I assume you'd be annoyed by the other guy selling Hoyt, selling it so cheap, because I was annoyed with him selling PSE really cheap, because you need some margin to cover wages and cover expenses, but maybe he can't just do maths, and maybe he will be broke very, very shortly. But that's another thing. That goes off the topic of the RX-7. So anyway, if you're buying an RX-7, buy it in Australia, ship it to America, you still get all your warranty because Hoyt will look after you, because that's the way life works. And in America, obviously, all your warranty is done through the manufacturer and not through the dealer, so it's all pretty good. So the RX-5, let's try it out. So I'm going to adjust the draw length, and then we're going to try drawing it back, shoot it through a chrono, shoot 18 meters with it, and see how it all is. Okay, so I just adjusted the draw length on the RX-5, and I'm going to say so good to adjust. It reminds me of adjusting a PSC, but I'm going to say better than adjusting a PSC. The Elite has lots of adjustability, which is very good, and there is a letter on the Elite module that I couldn't see, and I had to zoom up with my phone to see it. But with the Hoyt, just there, the letter's really easy to see. And it's down the bottom as well, just there inside the limb. Very easy to see, written in white. Very nicely done. I'm going to say when I reviewed Hoyt in the past, and Hoyt didn't have adjustability, I would say that, and I'd say it'd be really good if you had rotating modules. It'd be really good if you had this stuff. And I got heaps of criticism from Hoyt shooters. Hoyt have done it, and it's awesome, and Hoyt dealers should be selling lots of these bows, and they should have lots in stock. It blows my mind that shops do not have this bow in stock, because I think this should be a big seller for them. It has a nice ability to fit two-piece quiver. It has the little thing here to fit a integrated rest. It's a very nicely finished bow. So anyway, I think it's really well put together. So we'll see what it shoots like. I think the attention to detail is very, very good. Let's try out the draw cycle. It's got big cams, so it's meant to be fast, so it should be quite aggressive to draw. Now the arrows I'm shooting, this is a 60-pound bow. 50 to 60. The customer clearly did not shoot this bow very much. So it starts off here. Feels light here. Oh, this is very easy once you get back here. Let's just shoot this shot. .277. Now that's with a Victory VAP 350 with 140 grain points in it. I think it weighs 380 grains. Draw cycle is very, very nice. Where does it kind of place in the draw cycle stakes? I think it's very nice. It's very nice. How good is it compared? So this is a gold tip, velocity 400, weighs 327 grains. So theoretically this should be pushing up well beyond the 300s. I don't think it will, but let's just see. The draw cycle is not harsh enough to be shooting a big speed. It's quite smooth. So this is all smooth. The belly's nice. Very solid belly. .302. Look, it's not 340 feet per second, and maybe I just read the specs wrong. It's probably more like a 330 feet per second bow. 302. But what the bow is, it's a very lovely draw cycle. It's very adjustable. There's no vibration. It's quiet. The grip is very comfortable. I had an RX. I shot one of the earlier RX. And I can remember there was something which jagged into my thumb here. I'm not feeling any of that with the shot. Let's just try another one to make sure. It feels really good. The grip, the Hoyt grips are kind of different. So the Hoyt target grip is very different to the Hoyt hunting grip. This is very comfortable, this grip. Your Hoyt hunting grip is narrow, square. This is quite comfortable, the style on it. .300. Yeah, look, the grip is really comfortable. Look, I always thought the Hoyt RXs were a nicely finished bow, and all their carbon bows have been nicely finished. To me, the draw cycle feels better with this. The vibration feels good. The hand grip feels very comfortable. To me, it's a very, very nice bow. So let's take it back to 18 meters and see how well I shoot. Okay, so I'm at 18 meters. I'm ready to shoot. I've sighted the bow in, and I shot 3 in the gold, none in the 10, but I'm happy with that because let's just see where the group is. So the first thing, I really like the way the bow shoots. So just like calling out there, I like the way these when you adjust the draw length, the Allen key sits in a groove there. I really like that. It's very positive. So the one thing I noticed, I've been shooting the Elite Envision recently, doing a review on that, and what I noticed was the sight pin is exactly in line with the center alignment of the bow. On the RX-5, the sight pins are out to the left, which is quite normal for most bows, but this one's it's almost over an arrow width, the sight pin's out to the left. Saying that, I think I'll shoot well with it. A 6-inch brace height. What I normally find with a 6-inch brace height is I get a little bit more shake than with a 7-inch brace height, but you know, it should be more speed. The draw is really nice. Oh, I'm going to say what I really like too on the Hoyt RX-5 is the module. The module's got a ridge either side. A big fan of that. Some companies only have a ridge on one side, so the cable actually rubs on the inside of the cam. I like the way it has its own track. You got bearings here which are all good. Like it's good. So let's see how well we shoot. I'm gonna, like, this to me, having not shot 18 meters with it, it feels really, really good. Now the 29-inch draw length to me feels slightly short, bit comfortable at 29. Some bows feel long at 29, some feel short at 29. This feels on the shorter side, it feels probably a bit like 28 3/4, but you know, easy to adjust the draw length. The sight pin is pretty stable on the center. I am getting a slight little twitch from left to right. There's very little wind. There's a little bit of wind, but not much. But I'm just getting a little bit of shake from left to right, and that's just in me and the shorter brace height. But overall, like, I draw this bow back, my sight pin stays on the center. So sometimes if the draw cycle is more aggressive, the sight pin will go off the center. This is very much on the center the whole time. Like, it's really, really nice to shoot. Now the bow, like, this is a 60-pound bow. You can see it's fully wound up. You can't wind up anymore, right? It feels like, I'm going to say probably 54. It feels light for a 60. Very smooth draw. That time the sight pin just sat on the middle with no wobble. A very, like, of all the nice bows, let's talk about nice bows for 2022. The Elite Envision I really like the grip, like the way it shoots, like the draw length, like the adjustability. The Solution from Bowtech is a very nice bow. I would rate this up against them. Like this thing here on the wheel, this is to stop the derailing. If you torque the bow, it's pretty good. Now this bow is clearly up against the PSE Levitate in the consumer market, being a carbon bow. The PSE Levitate is lighter, it's got a more chunkier grip. The draw cycle is both are very easy, both adjustable in the draw length with rotating modules, but the Levitate is more expensive. The Levitate's lighter. This is a very, very nice boat. Now, if you're a Hoyt dealer, and I am not a Hoyt dealer, if you don't have this thing in stock, if you don't have the RX-7 in stock, you're a moron. So, and that's just, that's just calling it how it is, because this is a good shooting bow, and its price point, you're very competitive. And if you're selling this bow at 25 and the other guy's selling it at 21, you're also a moron, because you're not going to sell any because the other guy's 21. So look, it's really good. Now, do I prefer it over the I'm going to go the Envision. Do I prefer it over the Envision? The Envision is cheaper. I think the Envision's about $1,700, and let's say this is $2,100. That's $400 difference. Look, I can't say I prefer one over the other. I really like the Envision grip. I like the adjustability, the cable stops, the limb stops on the Envision. It's got the ability to tune the limbs by doing the left and right. That's pretty cool. Look, I'm going to guess the speeds are pretty similar and the draw cycles are very similar. The cam systems are very similar. Now, the customer who purchased this brought it for target archery. Could he shoot it for target archery at the club? Yes, you could. It's just going to be a little bit more twitchier than a target bow. But you could still shoot a good score with it. Now that one, that one was like that. And that could be me. Okay, so I did a video yesterday on the Envision, and I had one of my customers and friends come in and buy one. He came in today to buy more stuff for the Envision. Now he's owned lots and lots of bows. I don't know if his wife knows this, but he's owned lots of bows. He came in and goes, I've shot 300 already, a perfect score indoors with it yesterday. I've owned the bow for one day. I've shot 300, 299 and 299. I shot 297. He shot 300, 299, 299. He said I shot at 40 meters. I was shooting like that. Now he owns a Result. He owns some PSE target bows. He owns Hoyt bows. He said, look, I think this bow aims better than the other bows. And I'm like, well, you have to shoot some scores and see. Now this is a hunting bow in the same line as the Envision. Now the difference between this and the Envision is the brace height, 6 inches versus 7. This bow did aim well. It feels nice to shoot, and I think the bow's built well. Let's go down and see what the grip's like. Well, to start with, I'm shooting a Whisker Biscuit, no peep sight. There's a peep sight there, but you can see it's like down here because it's a different angle point than the last person who owned the bow. Look, the grip's pretty good. There's a little bit of left and right, which is interesting because I was shooting the Envision the other day and the results, and I was getting no left to right. They were just straight up and down. This way I've got a little bit of left and right, which would either be hand grip or torque on the face. But when I was aiming this bow, so it's set on 80% let off at the moment. With the Envision I had it set on 70%. But when I was aiming I was getting a little bit of twitch left to right. And that's what's showing up here in the group. So overall, huge fan of their Hoyt RX-5. So much so that I'm going to go and buy a whole heap of them. So you're going to say, well, how can you buy them if you're not a Hoyt dealer? Well, I can buy them off a distributor. So I'm going to go and buy a whole heap because I think that is an awesome bow. And I like my shop having bows in stock that people can try, and then they go, oh, which bow do I want to buy? Because an archery shop is a toy shop for men. And yeah, girls do buy bows on stuff, but most of them are guys and most of them are tradies, and they just come in wanting to buy cool stuff. There's very few girls who come in wanting to buy cool stuff. So I'm not being sexist. You have girls who come in and try recurve stuff, and they want to have cool looking stabilizers. Only thinking of like one from last week. But like this type of bow is aimed generally at the male who wants a cool hunting bow, and they want to seal cool hunting bows, and they might buy a bow from the different brands just because they're cool. This is why I want this in the shop. So I'll be buying some of these after this review because this is amazing. Like the thumb problem I had with the old one's gone. I think that was the RX-3 where the thumb hurt in the carbon. The draw cycle is excellent, and I think I'll buy a couple of the other RX-7s. So overall, the RX-7. Now, bear in mind, again, I started this review that it's much cheaper for you to buy a Hoyt in Australia, ship it to America. I don't know around the rest of the world how that relates because I'm just in the Australian market. But it seems to me to be crazy. You can have one of these Hoyts for 1,300 $1,300 US in Australia when it's $1,900 in America. It's a crazy difference. So what, are you telling me they're making $600 on a bow? Is that what you make on a bow in America? 600? Oh, God, I wish I made 600 on a bow. Like, here the margins are rubbish on bows. Absolutely rubbish. It's just, you spend 2 hours with a person, you make nothing because your wages just burnt all that, and then you're going to give a lifetime warranty. Anyway, maybe the margins are better in America, and that's why the shops are bigger than in Australia, where they're all going broke. So, anyway, awesome bow, the Hoyt RX-5, and I assume the RX-7 is pretty much the same. I don't know the difference. It looks pretty much the same. I haven't shot an RX-7, but when we get them in the shop, I intend to shoot it. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.